The government has brought in a amendment act to the Prevention of Terrorism Act, calling it reform to the PTA. Last Sunday when I met Professor G.L. Piris, who has introduced this amendment bill, I told him that the word reform has to be redefined in the dictionary if this is called reform. He merely laughed. When PTA was to be removed, was to be repealed, Sri Lankan government gave those promises to the whole international community and particularly to the European Union. As a consequence of that, a new bill was introduced during the last government called the Counter-Terrorism Bill. That bill repealed the PTA and instead brought in the Counter-Terrorism Act. In that, most obnoxious provisions in the PTA, namely the admissibility of confessions, long detention, preventive detention and so on, were all removed, and judicial discretion was restored and bail could be sought immediately upon arrest. However, some civil society organizations included opposed that bill on the basis that there were certain negative features in that. I also admit that there were certain negative features, yet it was loads better than the Prevention of Terrorism Act with which we have travelled for 42 years now. And in any case, when those objections were raised, the minister who introduced it at the time, Honorable Tilak Marapana, gave an assurance that those would be rectified during the committee stage. However, before that could be settled, the Easter bomb attack happened and the mood of the country changed, and Sinhala national extremists used that to prevail upon the government to continue with the PTA. Today, a new amending act is being brought, which is worthless, useless on the paper on which it is written. It makes absolutely no change to the PTA as we know it. It merely makes detention period 12 months instead of 18 months, but we know of no one who's been released because they have been in detention for 18 months. Before that, the person is produced before a magistrate and indefinite detention or indefinite remand is ordered, and we only know people who have been in prison without being released on bail for over 18 years. There is no change that will come about as a result of this. The definition of terrorism is not changed. It's very wide and vague. Anything and everything can be brought under that. And so, we have started a signature campaign, a countrywide signature campaign calling for the full repeal of the Prevention of Terrorism Act. We started it on the 3rd of February, on the day last year when we commenced our long walk from Pottuvil to Polihandi. Because there was a fishermen's protest going on in the last few days, we temporarily halted this, but from today onwards, we are reigniting this protest and we will come to all parts of the country. We want all political parties and organizations to support this campaign for the full repeal of the draconian Prevention of Terrorism Act. We will come to every city, we will come to every town, and we want your support. Thank you.